Hey guys, we're here with the last two little chapters for the Julian section of Auggie and Me. So this one's called Starting Over. This is in Julian's voice, Julian's words. We went home a week later, but not before Granimir took us to a very special place, the village she grew up in. It seemed amazing to me that she never told Dad the whole Totoro story. The only thing he knew was that a family in Dannersville had helped her during the war, but she had never told him any of the details. She had never told him that his own grandmother had died in a concentration camp. "Maman, how come you never told me any of this?" Dad asked her while he was driving in the car to the village. "Oh, you know me, Jules," she answered. "I do not like to dwell on the past. Life is ahead of us. If we spend too much time looking backward, we can't see where we're going." Isn't that a great quote? If we spend too much time looking backward, if we spend too much time thinking about what's already past, already what has happened, we can't see where we're going. You miss what's right in front of you. Much of the village had changed. Too many bombs and grenades had been dropped. Most of the original houses had been destroyed in the war. Grenimir's school was gone. There was really nothing much to see, just Starbucks and shoe stores. But then we drove to Dannersville, which is where Julian had lived. That village was intact. She took us to the barn where she had stayed for 2 years. The old farmer who lived there now let us walk around and take a look. Granimir found her initials scrawled in a little nook in one of the horse stalls, which is where she would hide under piles of hay whenever the Nazis were nearby. Granimir stood in the middle of the barn, with one hand on her face as she looked around. She seemed so tiny there. "How you doing, Granimir?" I asked. "Me? Ah, well," she said, smiling. She tilted her head. "I lived. I remember thinking, when I was staying here, that the smell of the horse manure would never leave my nostrils. But I lived. And Jules was born because I lived. And you were born. So what is the smell of horse manure against all of that? Perfume and time make everything easier to bear. Now, there's one more place I want to visit." We drove about 10 minutes away to a tiny cemetery on the outskirts of the village. Granimir took us directly to a tombstone at the edge of the graveyard. There was a small white ceramic plaque on the tombstone. It was in the shape of a heart, and it read, "Ici repulsant. Vian Bolmer, né le 27 de avril 1905. Décédé le 21 de novembre 1985. Jean-Paul Belmier, né le 15 de mai 1901. Décédé le 5 de juillet 1985. Mère père de Julien Auguste Belmier, né le 10 de octobre 1930, tombé en June 1944. I looked at Granimir as she stood looking at the plaque. She kissed her fingers and then reached down to touch it. She was trembling. "They treated me like their daughter," she said, tears rolling down her cheeks. She started sobbing. I took her hand and kissed it. Mom took Dad's hand. "What does the plaque say?" she asked softly. Dad cleared his throat. "Here rests Vivian Belmier," he translated softly, "and Jean-Paul Belmier, mother and father of Julien Auguste Belmier, born October 10, 1930, killed June 1944. May he walk forever tall in the garden of God." Okay, next one is called New York. We got back to NYC a week before my new school was scheduled to start. It was nice being in my room again. My things were all the same, but I felt, I don't know, a little different. I can't explain it. I felt like I was really starting over. "I'll help you unpack in a minute," said Mom, running off to the bathroom as soon as we stepped through the door. "I'm good," I answered. I could hear Dad in the living room listening to our answering machine messages. I started unpacking my suitcase. Then I heard a familiar voice on the machine. I stopped what I was doing and walked into the living room. Dad looked up and paused the machine. Then he replayed the message for me to hear. It was Augie Pullman. "Oh, hi, Julian," said the message. "Yeah, so, I just wanted to tell you I got your note, and, yeah, thanks for writing it. No need to call me back. I just wanted to say hey. We're good. Oh, and by the way, it wasn't me who told Toshman about the notes, just so you know. Or Jack or Summer. I really don't know how he found out. Not that it matters anyway. So, okay, anyway, I hope you like your new school. Good luck. Bye." Click. Dad looked at me to see how I would react. "Wow," I said. "I didn't expect that at all." "Are you going to call him back?" asked Dad. I shook my head. "Nah," I answered. "I'm too chicken." Dad walked over to me and put his hand on my shoulder. "I think you've proven that you're anything but chicken," he said. "Proud of you, Julian. Very proud of you." He leaned over and hugged me. "Too much is toujours le front haute." I smiled. "I hope so, Dad. I hope so." The end. which normally I would tell you never to write the end, but I guess because they're different chapters, she thought it was appropriate to do. Tu marches toujours la front haute. I don't speak French. Sounds like I do, huh? But I think it means you march to the front. You march towards the front. I don't know. We'll have to look that one up. But telling his dad, you're on the right track. Keep up the good work. All right, we're going to stop there. So that was the end of the Julian chapter. And the next chapter coming up is called Pluto. You can see in the middle there is a picture of Pluto. And Pluto is Christopher, his friend Christopher that he talks about in the very beginning. They were good friends. Christopher moved out to Connecticut. So this is Christopher now telling the story the same age that he is, the same age that Auggie is, so 5th grade. So we'll see how that one goes next time we talk. All right, bye guys.